I am guessing that Diddy's minimum security federal prison is not paying for Netflix these days, even if they call it Club Fed. And that is probably just as well. The latest true crime docuseries on the streamer is called Sean Combs' The Reckoning. And that alone should tell you it is no Valentine. It's produced by Diddy's longtime rival, Curtis 50 Cent Jackson. And before it even dropped, Diddy's lawyers called it a, quote, shameful hit piece and fired off a cease and desist letter, which 50 and Netflix ignored. High on the list of Team Diddy's complaints are new suggestions that Diddy had a hand somehow in the murder of Tupac Shakur in 1996. And the series includes a police interview with a former gang member, and not just any gang member, Dwayne Keefe D. Davis, who says Puffy offered him $1 million to have Tupac killed. Sean Combs has always denied that. And Keefe D himself is the only person who's ever been charged in that crime. And then there's the murder of Biggie Smalls in 1997. 50's documentary claims that Biggie didn't want to make the trip to LA, where he was ultimately murdered, but that Diddy insisted that Biggie go. And after Biggie was shot, it's alleged that Diddy staged a lavish New York funeral and sent the bill to Biggie's estate. The four-part series also features two jurors from Sean Combs' federal murder trial just this last summer. A juror number 75 describes Diddy and Cassie Ventura, his girlfriend turned accuser, as, quote, two people in love. Juror number 160 says the brutal abuse caught on video was, quote, unforgivable. But, and I quote, domestic violence wasn't one of the charges. And here's the real kick in the teeth for Diddy. Some of the footage that 50 Cent got his hands on apparently came from Team Diddy themselves. And how he got the footage is a complete mystery. It is taken inside a New York City hotel room, the Park Hyatt hotel room that Diddy rented in the days leading up to his arrest a year ago, September. At that point, Diddy believed that he was negotiating a surrender, right? Had lots of time. As opposed to the surprise arrest that saw him hauled out of the lobby in handcuffs when he was absolutely not expecting it. But even so, you can clearly see that Diddy was feeling the heat.
We have to find somebody that'll work with us that has dealt in the dirtiest of dirty business. We're losing.
Puffy, Puff Daddy, Diddy, Sean Combs. All of these reincarnations, all those name changes are attached to really bad deeds.
Everything in life, you're gonna have people that are bad and people that are good. You have to choose your side.
If you have seen Sean Combs' The Reckoning, you will recognize my next guest. Derrick Parker is a retired New York City police detective who led an NYPD task force focusing on crime in the city's hip-hop and rap scene. He also was the officer who took Diddy into custody after that 1999 shooting with J-Lo at Club New York. Really good to have you on the show, Derrick. Thank you so much for being on. I guess I have this overarching question about this documentary. I kind of listed out all the stuff, you know, that's packed into it. But is anything in this documentary like a real game changer?
Well, when I first saw it, I looked at the footage that was in the hotel where he was staying, how he captured the last 6 days before he was supposed to be arrested by the feds, that he went out and talked to his lawyers, he was on a bicycle, he really traveled about the city. That was a little shocking to me. That was just one thing that was shocking to me. And then there was the statement from Keefe D again that I knew about, that Keefe D said about the actual murder of Tupac that happened in Las Vegas. And then the third thing was the billing of the estate to Christopher Wallace's estate for the funeral, the billing that he had sent the bill to that for his funeral. Those things were things that stuck out to me. So
let's start at the top with the hotel video, which I I did a double take because I thought, wait a minute, isn't this Fiddy's documentary? What is he doing with video from inside Diddy's hotel room, which clearly looks to be sanctioned by Diddy? It almost looks like Diddy was shooting a documentary. He thought this whole thing might go away and just wanted to have some really good content for afterwards. How the hell did this video get in the hands of 50 Cent, the arch nemesis of Diddy?
Well, I think it was delivered legally, supposedly what they're saying. I think what happened was that when he did this video in the hotel, he was probably thinking that he was going to probably be acquitted and he was going to probably get out and he could probably run back his last days that before he got arrested so he can use that for some footage later on. But it sort of backfired on him because now I don't think he wanted it to get out. And plus, he's in an appeal process right now where he's trying to get out from under this. He's still appealing his case, and this sort of brings back old memories, you know?
Let me ask you this, Derrick. Somebody real close to Diddy was holding that camera because Diddy didn't have people in his inner circle, in his hotel room, saying things like this unless they were close to him. And yet, whoever owns that copyright, whoever had their hands on that video, did him dirty, you know, and gave it to his enemy. Why and how do you think that happened?
Well, I think the person that probably did the video footage wanted to get some recognition for having that type of footage. And I think, I don't know if they signed a no-compete clause or an NDA, but that person turned that over apparently, and it went to 50 for the documentary, which he used.
I can't wait for that story you know, because right now it's a huge mystery. Fiddy ain't saying where he got it. He's not giving up, you know, the source of who brought it to him from Diddy's circle.
Right.
But maybe someday it'll come out, and I'm calling you when it does. Diddy's legal team says that, quote, Netflix relied on stolen footage that was never authorized for release, but Netflix says it has the necessary rights to all footage used in the project, and even offered Sean Combs an interview, which he declined. Let me move on to that other big nugget. It feels like 50 Cent, I get it, they're at war, they have been for a long time, but 50 is putting Sean Puffy Combs real close to the murders of Tupac and Biggie. Is it all smoke and bluster, or is there something there?
Okay, I worked those cases, the Tupac and the Biggie case. I mean, I remember here in New York, when Tupac got killed in Las Vegas, and I'll start there first, you know, I did reach out to Las Vegas at the time, but they weren't really up on what was going on in the hip-hop world. When Tupac got killed, I sort of knew from my counterparts in Los Angeles at the time that we knew there was something brewing with this thing that happened with Tupac at the MGM Hotel, and that it kind of spiraled where he was later in Las Vegas and he was shot by several people that were in a car, one of them being Keefe D. In 1997, when Biggie got killed, that was another case that I worked on because we had the death threats here in New York on bomb threats at the funeral home. I had to set up a whole task force in the units to deal with that funeral while it was here in New York. I mean, going to the gravesite, the burials, the funeral, everything. So that was a big deal back then. Right now, the person or the alleged person who might have brokered the deal with Diddy about this $1 million hit on Tupac, he's deceased. So Las Vegas is going to have a very tough time putting this case together because a co-conspirator can't really give you a full idea of what's going on. You need some independent corroboration in cases like this, and that's what Vegas really needs at this time.
Let me ask you this. I get it. When you have a case that's 5 years old, it's hard to, you know, to get overwhelming evidence that meets the burden of proof beyond a reasonable doubt. When you have cases this old, no matter what Fiddy has found out and put in this documentary, do you see it at all ever possible that Diddy could be involved in a murder trial when it comes to Biggie and Tupac?
It could be possible, yes. However, like I said, they need a lot of corroboration to make that stick, because it's really alleged right now as to his involvement. It's not anything that's substantial or concrete that he was involved. It's personally from people talking about it and saying this is what happened. You need some more information to come forward to prove that.
Well, and more than just corroboration, you know this game, officer. You know how people, the beefs that exist in this world are just epic, right? And so that has to be taken into account when you're, got people swearing in on the stand and saying things. You need the hard evidence. You need really good forensic stuff. And I wonder just how hard that could be, no matter what Diddy says he knows and what's been said. I got another area I got to ask you about. The federal jurors who talked in this documentary. I wanted to get your thoughts on some of the things they said. I recapped it real quickly. I mean, you got to watch the episodes for it. But two people in love, Cassie and Diddy, are two people in love. Clearly, it didn't seem that way, towards the end of their sordid, painful relationship. And the other one said that, it was unforgivable, but domestic violence wasn't one of the charges. That was a key defense strategy to repeat that over and over again. Couldn't extrapolate that he was violent in that hotel lobby, right? So why is it hard to believe that he's not violent inside the rooms when the testimony suggests from so many people that he was?
Well, what hurt him was that video. When that video came out about the assault on Cassie in the hotel, that sort of really changed a lot of people's opinion about him and the type of person and the violence that he committed. The two jurors that you had there, the female who grew up, said that she grew up in the industry. She knows about the music and the genre of the people that in hip hop. She's a female juror. And then you had the male juror, who was an older man who didn't really know much about hip hop, but he saw that this was like more of a love triangle. You had a male and a female that were involved in domestic violence. And it spiraled out of control where it led to other things. So you have two opinions of two different people that are giving you their perspective on what really happened and from what they hear in that hotel room, and then what happened between Cassie and Diddy. I mean, that's why he got charged with just the Mann Act and not with anything with the RICO or the sex trafficking.
Well, I'll tell you what, I was popping the popcorn and watching, Fiddy's Insta feed all the way through, but this blows Fiddy's feed away, this documentary. Really good to have you on. I always like to say thank you for your service. I'm glad you're retiring in good health. We're having too many officers down these days, so appreciate you being on. Thank you so much, Derrick.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.